Hi everybody. So in this video, we're going to look at graphical methods for solving a fractional inequality. If you want to work along with me in this video, you can download a copy of a PDF from my website. I'll leave a link in the description below. So the first thing we've been asked to do is to sketch this curve and to show the three asymptotes. So whenever we sketch curves like this, there's a few points that we need to consider. If we begin with x equals 0, then the denominator will equal 0, and this will give us a vertical asymptote. So I'll show this on the graph. Now y will tend to infinity. Another point we need to consider is when x tends to negative infinity. Well, if we substitute in negative infinity, then y will tend to. This negative 1 will become negligible, so we'll get negative infinity here. The same for this negative 3, so we'll get negative infinity squared. We'll do the same for our denominator. We'll get another negative infinity squared. So then you can see now as x tends to negative infinity, y will tend to 1. So I've shown this on the graph as the horizontal asymptote when y equals 1. And from our denominator, this x negative 2 will give us another undefined when x equals positive 2. Again, because we can't divide by 0. So when x is equal to 2, y will be undefined. So we'll get another vertical asymptote at x equals 2. And I'll label this one as x equals 0. And we also need to consider the roots. And this will come from a numerator equaling 0. So the roots will be when x equals 1, I'll label that on the axis, and when x equals 3, I'll label that about here. So we know when x tends to negative infinity, we'll have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1, and then as x gets smaller, we'll have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0, so something like this. Then we'll go from positive infinity to negative infinity as it passes 0, and then the curve will increase. It will pass through x equals 1, and we'll have a asymptote at x equals 2. So we'll get the curve like this. And then as x goes beyond 2, we'll go from a positive infinity to the negative infinity. It will increase again, passing through the second root 3, and then we'll have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. So we'll get the curve looking like this. Okay? You can see we have the three asymptotes at x equals 0, x equals 2, and y equals 1. And then for part B, solve this inequality. Well, we're looking at when the curve is less than 0. So this is when it's below the x-axis. Now it'll be in this part and this part. So x will be less than 1, but greater than 0, and x will be less than 3, but greater than 2. Okay? Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did find that helpful, please like and subscribe. And you can download the full lesson and a PDF that accompanies this video from my website, mrmathematics.com. I'll leave a link in the description below.